Good morning. India at 2022. I request you to take a minute of silence. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes. And let's not think, but let's visualize India 4 years from now. The country we want to create. We need to have a clear picture. How do we want it to be? See every aspect of the country we are creating. The country begins with me. How will I be 4 years from now? Radiate out to my family. How would my family be 4 years from now? Then to my organization. Four years from now. How would every member of my organization be? And that will then radiate out into the country. Who I am, what I create, begins with me, to my family, to my organization, and then creating and radiating that out into the country. I am the creator of what India is and what India will be. Any change that I want to create in the country, in my organization, or in my family, the seed is me. It begins with me. Thank you so much. Every day, if we spend even 5 minutes to just contemplate, introspect, and then visualize what we want to create. And then most important, look at from where that change will get created. And gradually come back to taking personal responsibility that what we are today, who is the creator, and what we will be 4 years from now, who is the creator. While I was seeing the stalls in the other hall, Brother very sweetly explained to me, our role is to help people to manage change. And there's been a lot of rapid change in the outer world. And most of us are helping people to adapt to that change in the outer world. But along with adapting to change in the outer world, I personally feel it's time for us to introspect on platforms like this. Are people internally equipped and are ready to adapt themselves internally to then adapt to the change in the outer world? The whole of last week has been the mental health week. And everywhere we've been talking, listening, reading, writing a lot about mental health issues. It comes for a week in the year and then it goes away, and next year again in the first week of October, we will again talk about it. Because we talk about these issues only when the day is declared by the UN and we say this is mental health week. Now we have the cancer week and we're all talking about that. Important is to ask myself, what am I doing about that? India has been rated #1 in depression. number one, followed by China and US. So if we are talking about leadership in 2022, then don't you think we should be talking about first eradicating this depression? Then only we'll be able to create leaders 4 years from now, because the highest number of those depression is in the adolescent. So we cannot create leaders unless they are emotionally strong, and only then be mentally fit and physically fit and socially fit. If I am experiencing even the slightest symptom of depression, I nowhere qualify to be a right leader. I do not. I can take my medication and manage all my work, and nobody would even come to know. Nobody will come to know. But that power, that enthusiasm, that zeal, that spirit to be able to take everybody with me, that stability in a crisis, I would not have the power. So leadership is not about obviously the position we hold, but leadership is about the quality we have. So when we are talking about India in 4 years from now, if we don't stop this depression now, if we don't stop these words stress, anxiety, suicide now, then what will it be 4 years from today? And so how much ever we all plan of what we want in the country 4 years from today, we would not be able to create it if the human resource is not empowered for it. So as an organization, what are we doing to take care of our health, the emotional health, and then take care of the emotional health of the organization, every member? When we were in school, there was no such word as stress. That word was only in physics. It was not, I am stressed, you are stressed. We never spoke like that. We only said stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. That is where stress was. And depression was unheard of. It was one rare thing which would happen to somebody at the age of 60, 65. And it used to be such a big thing. Oh, unko depression ho gaya. It was so big. Unka divorce ho gaya. It was so big. And we're not talking history. We are talking our generation. And we definitely were not talking about depression in school. Is bacche ko depression hai? No way. We didn't know about it. Then what has happened in the last 20 years? So stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Pressure, numerator, is what we are talking about. Rapidly increased in the last 20 years and going to very rapidly increase in the next 4 years. And we believed that if the numerator increases, the stress factor will increase. So we said, baat itni badi thi, to tension to honi thi. So which means stress is equal to the pressure. And that's what every organization is talking about. Pressure itne hai, to stress to hoga hi. Conveniently ignoring the denominator. So we made the equation as stress is equal to pressure. Pressure increased rapidly because we were not taking care of the denominator, the inner strength. If we go 20 years back, pressures were also average. Denominator, inner strength was also average. So we were doing quite well. And then suddenly numerator increased manyfold. Denominator decreased manyfold. We lived in a generation where we did not have mobile phones. So we did not have information flooding us every click. Even our television was 30 minutes news at 9 o'clock in the evening, read out very politely to us in a very sweet and soothing manner. You remember how Doordarshan read out news for us at 9 o'clock in the evening? It could soothe the mind so much that we could have good sleep after that. It was so sweetly and nicely presented. This is a change. But that 9 o'clock news 20 years back and today's 9 o'clock news, that change is a change in the emotional diet of every person, and that's affecting the emotional health of everybody. And then we were just 30 minutes of news. Today we are 24/7. All this is emotional diet. And then now it's not just 24/7. Now we are carrying it with us. So we are carrying that phone with us. With every click, we are consuming information. And information which is not of a very healthy quality. So the information we consume is the nutrition for the mind. We take care of the diet for the body. So what I eat will decide the health of my body. What I watch, read, and listen will decide the health of my mind. So in the last 5-10 years, suddenly the emotional diet has changed. And we're talking about children and youth who are growing up on that emotional diet. This generation has grown up on a very healthy emotional diet. But today's generation is growing up on a toxic emotional diet. So to visualize what they will be 4 years from now or 10 years from now is... So when we are talking about what to do with the world and with the country, it needs to begin with me. A project which we need to take up is project of happiness and health. Is my every member in my organization highest on the index of happiness and health? Then we will achieve whatever we choose to achieve. But if I'm not taking care of that state of mind and their state of body and pushing them to achieve what they have to achieve, then they collapse. And if they collapse, their children collapse. The responsibility of every organization is to send back happy people home in the evening. Because everyone walking out of the organization is someone's parent. But if every member walking out of the organization says, stress to natural hai, गुस्सा तो natural है, jealousy तो होती ही है, fear तो होता ही है, then they carry that emotional energy home. And now it's not just one parent carrying that emotional energy home, at least the other one would neutralize that energy. Now it's two coming home, and both are competing with each other as to who is more stressed than the other. And we say to the other person, you know, I had a horrible day. And the other person said, don't even ask, how was my day? And when we do that, we are telling each other, don't ask me to adjust, me to tolerate, me to be stable, me to be calm, because I've already depleted my energy before I reached home at 6 o'clock. Not even 6 o'clock now, 7, 8 in the evening. And if both parents are going to return home competing about who's more depleted, then what are they going to give to their children? And then we look at our children and say, ये बच्चे आजकल के ऐसे कैसे हो गए हैं? हमने उनको खिलाया क्या? They have grown up right from the womb of the mother. Today, issues are not starting at the age of 15 and 20. There are issues in 1 and 2-year-old children. Whether it is dyslexia, whether it is hyperactivity, whether it is ADHD, name it all, it is starting right from the womb. And the womb of a mother and responsible of the father, both who are working in our organizations. So the culture of our organization is not just affecting the people there, it is affecting the next generation. And yet together all of us only seem to be talking about what we are going to achieve in the next 4 years, not talk about how we are going to be in the next 4 years. Can we create an organization where everybody goes home happy in the evening? It's a project. Happy. Because if they go home happy in the evening, they'll have happy family time. If they have happy family time, they'll come back next day happier than what they were yesterday. And if they come back happier, they will work better. If they work better, they will go back happier. And it's a cycle towards happiness. Otherwise, it's a cycle from stress towards depression. And that's the cultural change that the organization needs to create. Because individuals seem to say we don't have time for ourselves. Today we tell anybody, take out 30 minutes every morning to meditate. They say, oh, time nahi hai, marne ki fursat nahi hai, aajkal aap meditation bolte. So we are ready with our vocabulary which says, I have no time. Because depleted and drained, I am fulfilling the objects and the targets of my organization. Where is the time for myself? Because we made the equation go the other way around. We thought when we achieve, when we do well, then we will be happy. A few 100 years back, every child would go to a Gurukul. What is the difference between today's school and today's education and a Gurukul? A Gurukul was where they were taught about the outer world, but they were also taught about the inner world. They were also taught about how to manage their thoughts, feelings, emotions, and then bring them out into their profession. So Gurukul was truly creating leaders. And that's why even the Raja had to go to a Gurukul. The teacher did not come to the kingdom to teach him how to become a Raja. The Raja had to go and live in a Gurukul. Because before becoming a Raja over others, he had to become a Raja over himself, the ruler of his own thoughts, feelings, words, and behavior. Swarajya. So unless I manage myself, I cannot manage anybody else. And so every child was going to the Gurukul, and they were training people there right from becoming a king to any profession which was needed. But everyone was studying together in a Gurukul. And even then, in spite of having been empowered in the Gurukul, every Raja had someone who would advise him always. Why would a Raja need to take advice from someone else? He knows it all. But advice just so that the Raja does not miss out any point of the dharma while he's implementing the karma. And which means my religion of peace, my religion of purity, my religion of honesty, my integrity had to be balanced with my every karma. And so if dharma is balanced with karma, then we don't need to talk about ethics at work, because ethics flow naturally. And then of course, then we don't need to talk about a lot of other words that follow after that. Most important is when the individual is using their own qualities along with their work, they are empowered while they are working. Because their every karma is coming out of their dharma of peace, happiness, purity, power, honesty. So they were ruling people, but they were doing that only after they were ruling themselves. That's leadership. That's leadership. And then suddenly we went into a system, influence of cultures of another part of the world, where there was no Gurukul. Every education system was only talking about the outside world, what to achieve outside. Every profession was only teaching us how to become an engineer, a doctor, a jurist. Nobody was teaching me to be an ethical engineer, a compassionate doctor. No. They said, इतने marks आ गए, आप doctor बन जाओगे. इतने marks आ गए, आप engineer बन जाओगे. आपके अंदर कंपैशन है नहीं है फर्क नहीं पड़ता, आप डॉक्टर बन जाओगे. तो फिर कुछ लोग डॉक्टर बन के बिजनेस करने लग गए. सोसाइटी कोलैप्स्ड because we were not talking of values, principles, thoughts, emotions with our karma. And that's the need of the hour for this. If we really want to create India, because India has the power, with our spiritual culture, with that innate wisdom which each one of us knows, we just need to start using back what we know. We just need to start our every morning with 30 minutes for ourselves. What has happened since the time we are carrying our phones, there is no demarcation about when work begins and when work gets over. So we are actually living at work throughout the day. आधी रात को उठ के भी एक ईमेल पढ़ लेंगे हम बीच में. कर लेंगे ना. तो जब हमारे पास वो फोन नहीं था, we had very fixed working hours. I go to work at 8, I come back at 7. No problem. No problem. Provided the remaining 7 to 8 was. But what happened since we got the phone? We were always at work. And so people started saying this phone has become the cause of stress. No, it's not. The phone is a very comfortable device provided I create my self-principles and my self-discipline as to how much to use it and when to use it. Can we create our self-discipline and demarcation points that after this time I am at home, I am with myself and with my family, no work? Is it possible? सोच लीजिए, is it possible? Is it possible? Even if you do it just 1 hour before going to sleep, but at least 1 hour before going to sleep, be at home. Because otherwise, we are going off to sleep only thinking about problems of work. And the next epidemic, which is going to be very soon with us, is problems with sleep. which is already there in some other countries. Largest selling medication, sleeping tablet. नींद नेचुरल चीज है, नेचुरल है. एंड फिर रात को नींद आती नहीं, दूसरी जगह बैठे बैठे नींद आ जाती है. लीडर कैसे बनेंगे? बैठे बैठे नींद आ जाती है आजकल, बिकॉज वी स्लीप डिप्राइव्ड. गाड़ी में बैठे बैठे नींद आ जाती है. लुक इन द फ्लाइट अराउंड यू. डे टाइम you will find 80% of people in the flight dozing off, and especially leaders. आम जनता तो फिर भी हंसते खेलते खा पी रही होती है. जो लीडर्स होते हैं वो तो is a sign they're short of sleep. And short of sleep doesn't mean number of hours we are sleeping less. It just means we are not sleeping well. And we are not sleeping well because we are constantly thinking. इतना सोच रहे हैं. तो ये हमें धर्म अपने लिए क्रिएट करना पड़ता है कि 9 o'clock के बाद स्विच ऑफ. स्विच ऑफ. It has to be a personal discipline. I owe it to myself, and most important, I owe it to my work, because I need to go there tomorrow morning fresh, vibrant, energetic. Not leader ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है ना. So we owe it to ourselves. We cannot say क्या करें, ऑफिस से तो कभी भी फोन आ जाता है. कभी भी तो आता रहेगा. सामने वाला आधी रात को उठेगा तो वो तो आपको आधी रात को भी ईमेल भेज देगा. उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? दैट डजंट मीन आई हैव टू रिस्पॉन्ड इन द मिडल ऑफ द नाइट. ऐसा तो कोई क्राइसिस हो ही नहीं रहा है. बट वी हैव गॉट इनटू द हैबिट ऑफ मेकिंग एवरीथिंग अ क्राइसिस एंड अर्जेंट. हर ईमेल पे लिख देते हैं अर्जेंट. कुछ अर्जेंट नहीं होता उसके अंदर. विच मीन्स रिस्पॉन्ड राइट नाउ. एंड फिर जब से हमने व्हाट्सएप भेजने शुरू कर दिया, फिर वो व्हाट्सएप पे ब्लू टिक भी आ गया, तब और स्ट्रेस क्रिएट हो गया. दे हैव रेड माय मैसेज एंड दे स्टिल हैवंट रिस्पॉन्डेड. अननेसेसरी एंग्जाइटी. अननेसेसरी है. Convey your message to people working with you or even people senior to you. Sir, after 9 o'clock, I don't work. My commitment to you was from this time to this time. हमें लगता है ओहो इससे क्या होगा. It's a cultural change we need to create. It will begin with one. अभी अभी जब everybody was standing on the stage and they were being introduced, and one smiled, and the next one smiled, and the third one smiled. The fourth one did namaste, and after her everybody else did namaste. It always takes only one to create a change. Only one. I actually noticed on the stage, after she did it, absolutely everyone did it. It's not about right or wrong. It's about one is needed to create a change. After that, बाकी सब तो follow कर लेंगे. तो we are not going to get scared कि हम ऐसा बोलेंगे तो कैसा चलेगा. It's just that you tell sir कि सर आप अपना भी ध्यान रखो और मुझे अपना भी ध्यान रखने दो. हमें इकट्ठे मिलके बहुत काम करना है. कब आप भी सो जाओ, मुझे भी सोने दो. आप भी खुश रहो, मैं भी खुश रहूं. कल सुबह हम योगा करेंगे, एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, मेडिटेशन करेंगे, फिर हम ऑफिस में आएंगे. वी ओ इट टू आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, बिकॉज ओनली देन विल वी नॉट जस्ट बी हेल्दी व्हेन वी गो टू वर्क, वी विल बी इमोशनली स्टेबल. Then we will not have the word stress as a part of our vocabulary. We will not have anger as part of our vocabulary. Anyone gets angry? Normal है. I mean, ऐसा कौन हो सकता है जो गुस्सा ही नहीं करता? ये तो normal ही नहीं होता. So we started labeling a lot of unhealthy things as normal. So anger became normal. Peace became very strange feeling. Ask someone to sit 5 minutes without doing anything. तो हर 2-2 मिनट बाद बीच में phone click. Even if someone's driving the car, if they're at a red signal, 30 seconds, they will not pause. They will look at if there's any message in between in those 30 seconds. Because I'm not able to sit still now without doing anything. हिलती जाते हैं हम. Stillness ही नहीं है. Why? Because we're not doing that on a daily basis. But which means this inner battery will just keep discharging like this. And ये करते करते शाम को हम घर पहुंचेंगे. What power is left to give to our children? What's the power? We're only giving them a lot of money. And we're giving them the best schools. And we're giving them the best facilities. And we're assuming that after having all of this, they will be happy. They are only more comfortable. This generation is more comfortable than what you and me were physically, but emotionally they are weaker than us. And what will happen to the next generation? Is it possible that we create an organization where there's no anger? No anger in the organization. हो सकता है? Lights on रख सकते हैं, क्यों बंद कर? Is it possible to have an organization without anger? Right from the main door to the chairman's office and every cabin, you are entering into a no anger zone. We will immediately be eradicating anger, fear, hurt, low self-respect immediately from the organization vibrations. And we will be creating an energy where people are comfortable, calm, relaxed, and that will automatically increase their efficiency. And it will send them home in the evening empowered. The need is to send back people happy in the evening. So let's make our organization a no anger zone. That should be the project of this group. जहां कोई भी किसी को भी गुस्सा नहीं कर सकता. डिसिप्लिन करेंगे, assertive होंगे, लेकिन react नहीं करेंगे. Dignity and respect for everyone whom we are talking to. Respect and dignity needs to be the vibrations of an organization. And a leader should be like a mother for everybody at work. A mother who understands. Everyone walking into the campus today, into the organization, is going through their own personal issues before they enter there. If an organization becomes a place which gives healing energy just by having a different culture, then it will send people home healthier in the evening. And we are a country who has the power to do that. India is the country which has the power not to just transform itself, but be a guiding lighthouse for the rest of the world, because the world looks towards us for spiritual principles of the inner world. We look at the world for the magic that they created in the outer world. They look towards us for the magic we can create in the inner world. It's only when that happens we can create magic. So let's start taking care of ourselves and let's radiate that powerful message to the world that we are not just going to create a prosperous country, we are going to create a happy, healthy, and then prosperous country. Prosperity is of no use if I'm not happy and healthy. A CEO of an organization is not happy if the child is going through a mental health issue. It cannot be happy. So we need a happy, healthy, prosperous country, and it will only begin with self-management. Self-management before we manage any other products. 30 minutes in the morning. Let's not begin the day with reading and consuming what's happened in the world. Nothing very pleasant is happening which needs to be read first thing in the morning. It's an emotional diet. If I want to be happy and stable throughout the day, I cannot begin my morning absorbing violence, corruption, disaster is not what I can consume first thing in the morning if I have to be emotionally healthy. If I consume that first thing in the morning, then aggression is normal throughout the day. It's normal. So let's make this as a personal principle, emotional diet change. First 1 hour, do not read anything of the outside world. Replace that with at least 15-20 minutes of studying something about the inner world. Consuming information which is full of power, inner power, stability, compassion, acceptance. These are not words which are supposed to come only in the speaking tree column of the Times of India. These are words which have to be our way of living, acceptance, empathy, compassion, leadership quality. This is leadership quality. But how would a leader be that way? Only if the leader starts consuming that emotional diet first thing in the morning. So 15-20 minutes for yourself to read, to watch, to listen, to absorb high nutrition emotional diet, which will raise your vibrational frequency. When we walk into our organization, it's not about what we speak and how we behave. It's the energy field we carry. नवरात्रे चल रहे हैं, जिन देवियों की हम पूजा कर रहे हैं, किस चीज की पूजा कर रहे हैं? We are worshipping the Shakti, the power. It's not feminine. It's the power of every individual. It's the inner power. वो जो 8 भुजाएं हम दिखाते हैं, it's not anybody was born with 8 arms. It's about the 8 powers that every individual has. The power to withdraw, the power to let go, the power to accept, the power to discern, the power to decide, the power to cooperate. These are powers of every individual which we are worshipping now for 9 days. But we are not just to worship it, we are to invoke it within. Divinity वहां से invoke नहीं करनी है. Divinity has to be invoked within by leading 9 days a sattvic lifestyle. And if we start leading a sattvic lifestyle, 10th day Ravan will die. Where is the Ravan? Where is the Ravan? कहाँ है रावण? वो 10 सिर कौन से हैं? काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, अहंकार, ईर्ष्या, द्वेष, नफरत, आलस्य, 10 सिर. वो 10 सिर को अगर गिराना है तो जीवन सात्विकता की जीनी है. सो दशहरा विल ऑलवेज कम आफ्टर नवरात्रि. एंड जब रावण मर जाएगा तब जीवन में दिवाली आएगी. दिवाली नहीं आ सकती है उसके बिना. एंड दिवाली मीन्स जहाँ एक दिया लेंगे और एक दिए से दूसरा दिया, दूसरे दिए से तीसरा दिया, दैट एक दिया, द वन. एंड दिया मीन्स टू गिव. Diya means where the leader is so empowered, each one is so empowered that they do not want anything from anyone, they are only giving, giving, giving. इसीलिए उसको दिया कहा जाता है. और जब दिया जलता रहता है तो लक्ष्मी आ जाती है. लेकिन लक्ष्मी खिड़की दरवाजे से नहीं आएगी. जब यहाँ का दिया जलेगा, I don't want respect, I don't want love, I don't want happiness. I give love, I give respect, I understand people. दिया तो लक्ष्मी इन्वोक हो जाएगी, प्रॉस्पेरिटी. तो इसलिए नवरात्रे चल रहे हैं, सही टाइम है सात्विकता अडॉप्ट करने का. सात्विकता not just in what we eat and drink, but सात्विकता in what we watch, read and listen. And if we consume Sattvic, watch, read, listen, eat, drink, then the divinity will be emerged and you will be carrying an energy field which is white. What is we see in the pictures of the deities is always a white circle. It's the aura which is white. Each one of us needs to create that white aura. Because a white aura means a highest vibration, and anybody walking around with the highest vibration will empower and pull others to a higher vibration. What's the color of our circle? What's the color of our circle? हमारे ऑरा का क्या कलर होगा? उनका वाइट था, हमारा क्या होगा? हमारा क्या होगा? एक चीज याद रखनी है, जिसका ऑरा जैसा होगा वो दूसरों के ऊपर वही इन्फ्लुएंस करेगा. So if I am walking with a darker shade of aura, then darkness is what I radiate everywhere I go. So leader is not about what is the qualification and what all I have achieved and have experienced. Leadership is what is the energy of the field, the aura that you carry, because only a pure, clean aura will empower others. The rest will only advise others. Two things is completely different. And empower मतलब आप जहाँ हैं आप औरों को भी ऊपर खींच लेंगे. लेकिन अगर हम नीचे हैं तो दूसरे जो ऊपर हैं हम उनको भी नीचे खींच लेते हैं. And so if we eradicate anger, one emotion from our organization, we will be empowering everyone to energize their vibrations. They will go home happy and they will energize the vibrations of their children. And then together we can create in the next 4 years, first and foremost, eradicate depression and the list of mental health issues and create a country which is happy, healthy, ethical will not be a word then, and then wealthy. And then when we do that, India really has the power to be a lighthouse for the rest of the world. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.